Hey Finxters, and welcome to this video. It's Chris, founder of Finxter.com, and in today's video you're going to learn about how to disable unit tests temporarily in Python. So say you have a complicated Python program. It is very good practice to perform some unit tests. Unit test means that you check your functions for whether they do what you expect them to do for different inputs. So unit tests are very good common practice in programming to ensure that you minimize the number of bugs you have in your code. And sometimes you create some unit tests and you actually want to disable some unit tests to try out different things. And in this video you're going to learn how to do this. So say you have different unit tests like test 1, and say we print some test case here, and then you have the same, like let's copy paste this. So you have test 2 and test 3. So we have 3 unit tests, and so now we want to disable test 1 and test 2 temporarily, or skip it. How can we actually perform this in Python? So a very common way of doing this is to actually create add this unit test dot skip annotation. This is called a decorator function. So now we have this decorator with this add annotation. We add this decorator to our function before our function, and this then will simply skip the unit test. So unit test won't work again if you do this. Okay, so let's maybe go back to another example where we can actually see the output here. So in this example, we first import the unit test module from Python. We create a class called test string methods, and this is the parent class from which we inherit the unit test.testCase class. We have 3 unit tests: test 1, test 2, test 3, and each test prints something. So let's run this code without disabling the unit test. So now you see the output is test 1, test 2, test 3. So we actually execute all the functions. So in unit test, it goes over all the methods in the class and simply executes the method. And the method usually contains some assert statements and so on to ensure that a certain behavior is performed by the function under test. But in this case, we have just printed something to see which tests are actually executed and which are not executed. And you see all of them are executed. Okay, so now how can we disable some of them? And I've already shown you the first method. This is simply using the add annotation, and we can we annotate add unit test dot skip. So this is the easiest way of a very simple way, I should say, to disable a unit test in Python. And you can do this. So now you see the output is only test 2, test 3, test 1 was not executed. So a very simple way to execute it. You can also optionally pass a string, like your reason for skipping unit test. So you can write simply pass any string here that describes why you actually skip the unit test. This is just for internal bookkeeping kind of, yeah. So you can actually add this optional string argument here to the skip function. Okay, so this is the first way, but there's actually an even shorter way that is a bit more dirty, but in many cases actually if I want to quickly disable something, I often use this way, which is just to have the underscore prefix before the test, because the underscore method, so with a single leading underscore, indicates that it's an internal function. This should not be executed as a unit test. Actually the unit test module will just ignore all the methods that start with a single underscore. So if you run this test, you see the output here. We only have test 2, test 3, so test 1 is disabled. Okay, we can also disable test 2, and now if you run this, we see again only test 3 is executed. So this way you can, with a single underscore, you can quickly disable the unit test. And then of course there's also the trivial way of commenting out some functions. I would not recommend this way, but I mean, just for comprehensibility, you can, for example, enclose it in a triple string. You enclose your whole method in a triple string, and then of course it is not executed. It's a very dirty approach, but it works as well. And in many cases, you will just do this. because of simplicity. Another optional way, of course, is to use the block commenting function. Often you can have you can highlight a certain number of lines and then press the block commenting function. Then of course it will also ignore it. So in this case we only run test 3 because test 1 we have the underscore, test 2 we have this commenting out, and the third one is again, so let's say we want to have all different approaches to skip the unit test. We pass unit test skip as an decorator function here, and now we don't run any test anymore. Okay, so these are three simple ways of disabling or skipping your unit tests in Python. Thanks for watching this video and see you in the next video. Bye.